Hello there and welcome back to Craft Therapy. We are working on our placemat, and for this week we are going to be putting on the third layer, and I must tell you that this is going to be the most tedious and time consuming layer of all because it's going to be involving so many rows. So you notice I just pulled out the thread that I had in there because I'm changing color, and rather than tying off and whatever, I just pull through my new color, which in this case is going to be my black. So I pull through both and I start with chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this chain 5 counts as a double crochet with 2 chains. So I'm now going to be putting a double crochet, but we're going to be skipping 2, 1, 2, and into the third we put a double crochet. That's it. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet into that third one. Whenever I'm working with black, I have to look so carefully because I feel like it's so muddled. So you see, I had to pull it out a while ago because I felt like I missed something. So skip 2. I'm looking carefully. That's the third one. See, I kind of did miss that third one right there. Double crochet. Chain 2. Skip 2, 1, 2 into the third one, double crochet. Skip 2, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet into the third. And we're going to do that all the way around. All the way around and meet back right here. So we are about to put in our last set of stitches here. So we chain 2, skip 2 into the third, double crochet. Let's do that again. Chain 2, skip 2, making sure I hold on to the thread this time so it doesn't slip off the hook. Double crochet, chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into our third. You just have to look and feel for it, right? Slip stitch there. Then here is where we're going to be getting a little bit finicky. So watch me now. Based on the pattern, and I'm not sure why he does it that way, but I'm going to go with what he's doing. And because you have 2 chains there, we're going to slip stitch not underneath but into these 2 chains. So we slip stitch into them. Watch your tension as you go so it doesn't pull too tightly. That's 1, 2, slip stitch into the double crochet that we have right there. And then we slip stitch into that chain 2 space right there. And what we're now going to be doing is putting in our shells. So we start with chain 3, put 2 more double crochets in to that same chain 3 space. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space for our shell. By the time we're finished, we're supposed to be able to do shells in our sleep. That's it. Chain 2, skip this chain 2 space, so into the other one we put another shell. 3 double crochets, 3, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And we're going to be doing this all the way around. So it's a shell, chain 2, skip the chain 2 space there, and into the next chain 2 space we put a double crochet. So it's almost as if this chain 2 and this chain 2 match back with each other. Now here is where I said to you that the counting is important, because if when you come all the way around you realize that your next shell is going to end up here and not here, it means that you have miscalculated and you might have to pull out all the way back down to these stitches, right? So these have to be 15 with the double crochet on each of the singles going all the way around. You have to calculate it correctly. So we will meet back when we get to here. So here we are coming to the end of this row. So I'm just going to chain 2, shell in that next one, that after we skipped, of course. That's 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. It's 2 and 3. We're going to put our 2 chains and find our 3rd chain, insert, and do our slip stitch, and that's it. Oopsie, see what's happening here? Let's pull that back out. I hope it doesn't break. What happened? One thing with this black thread is that it's very finicky to work with sometimes. You see me? I'm not sure what's happening here. What happened? How did it get into that loop and separate like that? And I don't want it to break on me, you know what I mean? Alright, so there's my what's going on here? Why are you doing this? We went around so beautifully. So clearly something got tied up somewhere. And I don't want to cut it and I don't want it to break on me. You know what I mean? So let's try and figure out what is going on. Clearly the strands, something caught somewhere and the strands separated. Because you see, I'm not even able to get this back out. You know what I mean? It's not coming out. Wow. And it looks pretty knotted. So guess what? In the interest of time, I'm just going to cut it and kind of cut it out and then rejoin my thread if anything. And I was getting to a spot that I needed to show you something important, you know what I mean? So let us cut that out and see if I can loosen it. Yeah, There's something caught somewhere. We're gonna do this part over, don't worry about it. Alright. Let me just manhandle it a bit and get it out. Get it, there we go, it's flowing again. So I'm just going to reattach. This piece feels kind of rough, so let me cut off a little bit more. And reattach, and we go again. I don't know what happened just now. And I mean, I went around the entire thing beautifully. And it waited until I got to the end to try and embarrass me. But you know, we're not going to be embarrassed. Because guess what? We do know that in crocheting, mistakes happen. And I like to be authentic and show the fact that I'm not a machine and mistakes happen. And how I correct my mistakes, you know what I mean? So let's just reconnect and go again. Because I need to show you what I'm about to do to move on to the next row. Alright, so we were at, let's put it all the way down to there. So, alright, so we have the second part of our shell to do, so we chain 2, 3 more double crochets in here. I have to be very careful because I don't know what just happened and it grabbed or went in between the thread, and see my knot is coming up, so I have to be careful to keep it behind. And 3. And so we are finishing off this. My battery died and I just went ahead and charged it. By the time I was done charging it, it would have been too late to come back because the light would have been poor. So I'm back the following day. So we chain 2 and we join with a slip stitch, and that's how this row looks. Now before I put it down to show you what I'm going to do next, let me just go ahead and tell you that we're going to have 9 rows of shell stitches that we're going to have to be putting onto this. Alright? And to get to the next shell stitch where we're going to be starting our new row, we need to slip stitch into the other 2 double crochets that we have there. 1, 2, and slip stitch into the chain 2 space in between the shell. I was about to do a single crochet slip stitch. Alright, and then we are back at the top of a row ready to begin our next row. Now that's how we're looking. I'm going to find a way to pull this to the back, right? But this is how we're looking right now. So we are going to be putting on 9 rows of shell stitches, but I'm going to tell you how they're going to go. The first one has 2 chains in between. The second one will have 3 chains. The third one will have 4 chains. Numbers 5, 6. Am I counting correctly? 1, 2, 3. We'll have 2, 3, 4 chains. So 4, 5, and 6 will have 5 chains in between. And then 7, 8, and 9 will have 6 chains in between. So make a note of that. So this is the tedious part of this particular layer. Alright, Now, with the battery dying on me yesterday, I went ahead and did a complete one for you to see. Let's zoom you out a bit. Alright, so this is a completed one. And 9 rows of shells, as I said before. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, and as I said also, and you can see how the number of chains in between increase as we go up. So we have 2 chains, here, 2 chains in between, 3 chains in between, 4 chains in between, 5, 5, 5, and then 6, 6, 6. And then we have a total of our 9 shell rows. And in a nutshell, that's it for this part of the placemat tutorial. So, thank you for having joined me for craft therapy. And remember, keep those hands busy so that your mind will be at peace. Happy crafting.